Hello. So what is hypnobirthing? Hypnobirthing has been used in the UK to talk about a variety of different methods that are now being used. Originally, it was created by Marie Mongan and in America, and as I said, in the UK now there are so many different methods that hypnobirthing has taken on a whole new meaning. So when I talk about what hypnobirthing is, I'm talking about it from my perspective, and that is going to vary quite differently with the different methods and with the different teachers. So for me, I want to clarify about hypnobirthing is it's not about doing hypnobirthing. It's not about tools, although that can be part of what hypnobirthing is. Hypnobirthing is a philosophy. It is the philosophy that birth is normal. It's a perfectly normal bodily function, part of our biology, and it's a family event. It's the miraculous normal event of life. And it's about deconditioning the fear that surrounds birth. We are so conditioned by the media, by other people's experiences, by our own experiences, to fear birth and to think of birth as something that we have to endure, as something to get through and to survive through, instead of something to be so looking forward to and take pleasure in, and is something that we actively participate in. So hypnobirthing is about recognizing and reclaiming the power that is ours, that birth is a celebration of life. To become a new parent, to bring a new baby into the world, is the most amazing gift that we have been given. And hypnobirthing gives you the confidence to be able to look forward to giving birth and to be able to feel that you have choices to give birth. So when I teach hypnobirthing, I talk about not only the birth, but the pregnancy is setting a blueprint for that birth. And in terms of our baby's learning within the womb and our baby understanding and feeling the emotions and love that we are portraying. That parenting starts very early on, before the baby is even born, and that babies do experience all sorts of things and remember being in the womb and also being born. So we're going to talk about ways that we can respect the baby and gently birth that baby. And then how does that baby integrate into life outside the womb? So that's something that's all covered in hypnobirthing, whereas some courses talk only about the birth. Hypnobirthing covers from pregnancy, just from basically from conception, sometimes even before that, if we're working with somebody earlier on, all the way through to what's called the fourth trimester, which is something you'll learn about in your hypnobirthing classes. So I hope that kind of makes sense, and it will do as you go through your hypnobirthing classes. There's been a few misconceptions about hypnobirthing, and I think that's happened because it has been, I guess, interpreted differently by different people. One misconception is that if you're hypnobirthing, the idea or the goal is for a pain-free birth. And while Marie Mongan did talk about pain-free birth in her book, she talked about it as a possibility, not as a goal or the ultimate. It wasn't what the whole hypnobirthing program is about, but that it is possible for some people. But that isn't to say that you're failing at hypnobirthing if you find it painful. She talked about the way we interpret pain and tools to be able to minimize pain, and the way our hormones can help us to counteract any pain. And she talked about it being a normal bodily function to birth, for the uterus to be birthing, and so ways that birth becomes more painful when we're not able to relax and we fight against those contractions rather than to go with them. So it's about surrendering, letting go, and using our breath. And there are some tools and some hypnosis tools that we can use to minimize pain. But that isn't the ultimate goal, to have a pain-free birth. And no one should feel like they've failed at hypnobirthing if that hasn't been what they've experienced. Also, another misconception would be that when you're hypnobirthing, you have to be closing your eyes, completely zen, in the zone. Although we do find that happens naturally as you progress anyway into birth, that women go within themselves and they enter a different brainwave state. That's normal. And hypnobirthing teaches you how to get into that state earlier. So you're using hypnosis, self-hypnosis, to get into a more relaxed state earlier on. So you're not as easily disturbed, and you can trust your body and go within to connect with your baby. But should you use noise, should you make roaring noises or screaming or singing or whatever kind of noise you want to use, low kind of R sounds, and that's fine. It doesn't mean you're not hypnobirthing. It doesn't mean you haven't failed. There is no failing of hypnobirthing. So we need to get rid of this idea that it's something to be achieved or failed. It's not. Hypnobirthing is simply a philosophy with some tools that you can use. It's also, I guess the word hypno can be a bit off-putting to some people. They're not sure what I mean when I say self-hypnosis. So if you've ever read a really good book that you just cannot put down, if you've ever watched a film that you're totally engrossed in, and you come out of the cinema and you think, gosh, it's been 3 hours already, and you were there, you were in wherever it was that you were watching, you were in that scene. If you enjoy sports, or someone enjoys sports, and they're in the middle of watching a football match, for example, and you just cannot get that person's attention because they're so focused, that is a form of self-hypnosis. It's like imagining a zoom lens on a camera, and you're able to zoom right in and focus really well on one particular part. But should you need to come back out, should you need to get all of the picture and all of the focus, then you can just come right back out. You can zoom out again. And that is what it's like when you're in self-hypnosis. It's just a very deep form of relaxation. So if you've used guided meditations before to sleep, if you use any of these apps like Calm or Headspace, something like that, then you're going to be quite familiar with the type of language we're going to be using and some of the tools. It's a way to really relax your body so you're not holding so much tension in your body, and to really follow your body's cues rather than, again, fighting against them and being really fearful. So hypnobirthing teaches us to kind of let go of that fear that's surrounding birth, to recognize that we have rights and responsibilities for birth, to recognize the baby as an active participant in birth, and one with a sentient being with feelings and emotions of its own, and so the ways we're going to respect that during pregnancy and birth and after. And to really have that confidence in your body's ability to birth, and that it is designed to give birth and to nurture your baby. So yeah, I hope that helps you to understand a little bit more about hypnobirthing from my perspective, and that I see it more as a philosophy than a particular method. If you have any questions, or if anything I've said hasn't made sense, please let me know. And I'm really happy to answer any of those questions. Okay, take care. Bye.